x equals 6.
All right. Number 2.
Consider 3 statements below to be true. All horses that run fast are brown. Horse A is not brown. Horse B runs fast. Okay. Which of the following statements is true? Horse B is brown.
Okay, good.
How much greater than x minus 2 is x plus 5? It would be 7, right?
Uh-huh.
A group of students sold boxes of greeting cards to raise money. The net amount A in dollars raised by selling B boxes of greeting cards is given by the function A. I forgot all that algebra stuff. Those types.
You don't need much algebra here.
A times B equals 4B minus 30. Sorry, the B of A, right?
It's A of B. The way you pronounce that is
A of B equals 4B minus 30. If the students sold 15 bucks.
Let's just stop for a moment. What that means, that's not A times B. That's like f of x. You know, when you're talking functions, you'll write f of x sometimes. What that means is that A is a function of B. In other words, we're only going to find the variable B on the other side of the equation. If the variable over here was R, then it would say A of R. If the variable over here was X, it would say A of X.
Yeah, no, I got that. I'm remembering the f of x stuff.
Okay.
If the students sold 15 boxes of greeting cards, what is the net amount they raised? So 4 times 50 equals 60. So it would be $30, right?
Right. Number 5.
Okay. A carton of 12 cans of soda is priced at $6.60 now. If the soda goes on sale for 20% of the current price, what will be the price of the carton?
20% off the current.
Oh, okay. So divide 660 by 5, and you would get $1 and $1.32, right? So then you do that times 4, so $4, and then.
All right, let's talk about this technique for a moment. Let me pull that left and this one right. If we're taking 20% off of something, of a price, that I can do it 2 ways. I can take 1/5 of that and subtract it from that, right? That's 2 steps. Or
you're right.
I can take
528.
80% of that. If we take 80% of that, we get our answer. Do you have a calculator?
No, it's 528 though. $5.28. So
okay. You should have a. Yeah, it's got to be 528. You should have a calculator because this is a calculator test. You're allowed to use it.
Okay, so we're allowed to use calculators. Let me get mine.
Okay.
Yeah. Should I get my graphing calculator or just a normal?
No, just a regular one.
Okay. Okay. So then, if a squared equals 64 and b squared.
Let's back up a second, Bolton. Just want to point something out to you. Some of these questions have information in them that's completely irrelevant. Notice that question 5, the fact that it was 12 cans of soda, had nothing to do with anything. Could have been 100
I know.
cans of soda. So
I know.
The only thing I'm pointing out is that all the information they give you, you don't have to always consider all of it. There's going to be information they give you that's not relevant. They're just trying to fool you, basically.
So if a squared equals 64, that's 8 times 8, or negative 8 times negative 8. equals b squared, which is plus or minus 9 squared. Which of the following cannot be? So negative 8 plus negative 9. Wait, so one answer would be 8 plus 9, which equals 17, so that cancels out J. Then there's negative 8 plus negative 9, which is negative 17, so that cancels out F. Then there's negative 9 plus 8, which equals negative 1. And then, yeah, so it's obviously K, because,
Yeah.
you know.
In other words, you could have immediately seen that K could not be the answer. So here's a question.
You're right, but I wasn't.
Rather than going through all 4 possibilities, if you look at the answers first, you can get this problem in 15 seconds instead of 30 seconds. And the key to this test is shaving off those seconds. It really is. In other words, you always want to do a problem. Remember, the purpose of this test is not to convince anybody you know math. It really is not. The purpose of this test is to get the answer right, regardless of how you can do it and as quickly as you can do it.
And even if it doesn't involve showing work, then that's okay.
Well, you don't have to show any work on this. And in fact, a lot of times you don't want to do the math. That's not the correct way to do the problem. The correct way to do the problem is to look at the 5 answers and back solve it. Check which one.
So I already know for 7 that it would have to be 140, so D, due to the consecutive interior angles postulate.
Good.
Or theorem.
Well, that's something else you don't need to know. In other words, this is a classic example of kind of what I've been telling you.
Don't always explain.
These things aren't important. What's important is you know that that angle is supplementary to that angle.
Oh yeah, I know. But I was just explaining it just so you know that I know how to do it.
Okay.
If x equals negative 3, then x squared minus 6x minus 18 equals. So x squared, that would be negative. That'd be 9.
You also probably want a pencil and paper in front of you, because certain problems like this, you know, if your life depended on it, you're going to use a pencil and paper to come up with this answer.
Yeah. So 9 minus negative 18. So it basically be plus 18.
Okay.
Oh, so it's 9. It's 9. The answer is 9.
Good.
F.
Number 9. That's the absolute value is what those mean.
Okay. I know. What's the absolute value of 1 if minus a if a equals 12? 11.
Okay. Number 10.
If a, b equals c, take e. Is that an E or a C?
It's AB equals C and C equals KB.
And BC equals 0.
No, it doesn't equal 0.
Oh.
Then K equals what?
Oh, this is simple.
Solve this by substitution.
Okay.
If AB equals C and KB equals C, what's true about AB and KB?
Well, that's the problem, but I get that BC, but BC doesn't equal 0, but then that's not K.
Forget that. That's just kind of a thing that says you're not going to be dividing by 0. Here, I'll point that out in a moment. But what is true if that's true? If they're both equal to C...
K equals A, right? K equals A. No, K equals A.
Correct. In other words, AB has to equal KB. And then, I can divide both sides by B, but I can only divide both sides by B if I know B is not 0.
Yeah.
In other words, if there's a possibility that B is 0, then I can't divide both sides by B. And what this statement here is saying is that if BC is not equal to 0, well, then B is not 0, right? And so you can divide both sides by B, and you get K equals A.
Mm-hmm. Are we on 11?
Yes.
Okay. So x cubed to the power of 13 is equivalent to, that would be x to the 39th, right?
Yes. In other words, you're going to multiply the exponents.
I need to fresh up on my exponent properties. We went over it last year, but I don't remember too much.
Well, let's go over those properties. Let me just give you a test quickly here. What's 2 to the 2 squared times x cubed? What's that equal to?
That equals x to the 5th, right?
Right, because I'm multiplying the bases, therefore I'm going to do one less to the exponents. I'm going to add them. Yeah. Adding being one less level than multiplication. What is?
And since you're multiplying the exponents together, you're just multiplying. If you're doing that, you're subtracting.
Hold on. Let's do the second one. What's x to the 6th divided by x?
It's x to the 5th.
Because I'm dividing the bases, I'm doing subtraction on the exponents, one level less. Now, when I have this is exponentiation. What's one level less than exponentiation? Multiplication.
So it's multiplication.
So that's how I memorize it. Is I know that I'm always doing to the exponents one level mathematically less than what the base is doing.
Yes.
And then
and then with division stuff.
Yeah, okay, number 12.
If 2 over x is greater than 1/7, then what could be a possible value of
What's
x?
the largest possible value for x?
If it were smallest, it'd have to be 14, but largest?
Correct, you're right. If it was the smallest, it would have to be at least 14.
But largest, 28.
Okay, so let's examine how best to do this problem. First of all, if I try to do this problem algebraically, I have a problem. If I cross multiply here, I don't know if x is positive or negative. So I won't know what to do with this sign. In other words, it's very dangerous multiplying or dividing by variables in an inequality. Because if the variable is negative, you're going to have to change the direction of the inequality. So this is not that easy to solve algebraically. However, you pointed out a really good thing here, is that 14 would be the smallest value of x. In other words, an x of 15, this would not be true.
Mm-hmm.
Ah. So what are
so it is 14.
possible
So it is 14.
answers?
So it's 14 through 28. I don't know.
No, you're almost correct. That's what I thought at first also. But then I realized that 15 doesn't work, right?
Well, yes, it kind of does because it has to be greater than or equal to.
Right, but 2 over 15 is not greater than 1/7.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay, which means that 28 isn't going to be right either. So the only numbers we have to consider are F, G, and H. Well, is G correct?
2 over 1/2 would... So 2 over 1/2.
We've already figured out 14 works, and it wants the largest possible value for x if we've narrowed it down.
Yeah, so 2 over 1/2 is 4 to 1/7, and then 2 over 7. Yeah, no, it has to be 1/2.
No, What's the largest possible value for x? You already proved that 14 works. And I proved that 15 does not. So what's the answer?
1/2, right?
Which is larger, 1/2 or 14?
Oh, 14.
That's what it's saying. What is the largest possible value for x?
You're right.
14. In other words, both of these work. There's no denying that 1/2 works and so does 7. But 14 also works, and that's larger than either of those. And 15 does not work, nor does 28.
Yes. I get that now.
This is kind of a problem where instead of solving it algebraically, you're going to back solve it. This is called back solving. You don't have to convince the teacher you can solve for x here. That's hard to do, solving for x. But you can certainly test all 5 answers and easily, in other words, once again, if I said your life depended on it, is all you would do is test each answer, make sure that you find the 3 that are correct and pick the largest value.
So the value of x that could make that true is 14 through 0.00000001.
Yeah. But of 5 answers they're giving, just F, G, and H work only.
But an F is, and G, H is the biggest.
H is the biggest. So, but keep that technique in mind. There's a lot of problems on these tests where you don't necessarily want to start by plowing right into the math. That's not the best way to answer it. The best way to answer it in this case was back solving. And by back solving, I mean testing all of the solutions. Once you discover 14 works and 15 doesn't, well, you have your answer actually. You're done.
Yeah. Okay. So a circle with the circumference of 46 pi is divided evenly into 12 sectors. What is the total measure in degree of 5 sectors? So do we need to do 46 times pi?
Well, let's think about this for a second. First of all, let's draw a circle. Okay? When they divide it into 12 sectors, well, there's 4 sectors. So if I divide each one of those into 3, there's my 12 sectors. You with me?
Yep.
It wants to know the degree measurement of 5 of those. Those 5 right there. What's the degree measurement of all 12?
360.
So what's the degree measurement of 5?
46 pi is arbitrary and it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
So 360 divided by 12 would equal 30, right? And then
we can just take 5 12s times 360. And I'm going to do this like this. And then I get
5 times 30 equals 150.
Right. Again, that 46 pi is just to throw you off. You could waste a lot of time playing with that 46 pi. In other words, you might take that 46 pi circumference and figure out what the radius is and figure out what the area is, all of which would be wasted.
I think I might have an idea. Next week we do this, except you don't tell me the answers if I'm wrong. I just have to keep going.
All right. Well, you know what? We got a lot of practice.
So if I screw up, that's my own fault. But if I go through this continuously relying on help from others, that's not really going to help me.
Well, I'm not giving you help, only when you get them wrong. I haven't said anything when you get it right. I might add a point, just a subtle point, but in general, if you're getting them right, I'm going to the next question.
No, I know, but like, it's up to me to figure out that 46 pi was arbitrary.
Well, that's true. That's true, but this
Like,
was a little tricky. You were having a...
where if I get that wrong, it's on my own accord.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where I was going was probably going to lead me to, well, most likely the correct answer, but it would have taken me a while.
Correct. Correct. All right. Number 4.
Each day at 7:30 a.m. during one school week, Rachel and Ross counted the number of students who entered school through the main entrance and recorded the results in the table below. For that school week, what was the average number of students who entered through the main entrance? So you do all that and divide by 5.
Okay.
4 plus 427 plus 462 plus 433 plus 3. Not much attendance on Friday. Divided by 5.
And I think that's probably real also. I bet you Friday's attendance is always less than...
Oh.
What'd you get?
Something went wrong. Oh, okay. So, 450. Something went wrong. I don't know why. Plus. How do you... I gotta put parentheses.
You're using a TI-84 or an Inspire?
You didn't tell me to use my actual calculator.
No, you don't need to. In other words, all of the calculator work here is very simple. It's just adding numbers and dividing and stuff like that.
I just need to make sure I don't...
Trying to think if there was an easier,
oh my god,
approximate way to do this. I'm going to guess the answer has to be 434.
If this calculator wouldn't suck, I'm just going to do it on my TI, or my actual calculator.
All right.
Don't tell me the answer though.
No, you know how to do it. So the answer is almost unimportant here.
You know, I'm just going to take this calculator because this one's more reliable.
Well, the calculator you want to use is the one you're going to use when you actually take the test. That's the one you always want to have in front of you.
My calculator is out of battery, of course.
All right. Well, we don't need the exact answer here, as long as you know that you're adding up these 5 numbers and dividing by 5.
Yep.
Clearly, if you didn't know that, you could eliminate k, right? Because that's the highest number on there.
Yeah, right?
So you can always...
Wait, really?
Even if you don't know how to solve some of these problems, there's always techniques.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. And then we can...
Probably you can eliminate J, 453. That's too high also.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's why I guessed 434.
And probably 448.
Well, you can't quite eliminate 427, but...
No, I know, but 442.
You can eliminate
448.
Also, I'll bet anything it's 434. But let's go to the next one.
Yeah. Which of the following equations has both x equals -3 and x equals 6 as the solution? Isn't it E, right?
No.
Factoring
quadratics and then solving for x. In other words, if A was true, what would the values of x be?
It would be 6 and -3, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the answer. In other words, here's what we're doing. Just so
in quadratic, you just reverse the sign.
Not just doing that, because that's a little not correct, but what I'm doing is setting that equal to 0 and setting that equal to 0. So when I set x minus 6 equal to 0, that gives me the answer x equals 6. The reason you can't just take the opposite sign is, what if I had that? In other words, if I had 2x minus 6, then the answer wouldn't be 6, it would be plus 3, because I would be setting 2x minus 6 equal to 0, and that produces x equal 3. So it's dangerous to just take that and change its sign.
Okay.
Now, the SAT test is really about the same level of difficulty. It's not substantially harder at all.
Aren't there different parts of the ACT and SAT?
Yeah, there are. I'm just saying the math part. The two math sections are about, I would say, about the same degree of difficulty, if there's any difference at all.
There are two math sections, each taking 1 hour?
On the ACT, there's a math section that's 1 hour, and there's a science section that I don't know how long that is. The thing is, with the science section, it's not really science. It's more reading. The science section gives you graphs, asks you questions about the graphs, gives you tables, asks you questions about the tables, may give you a couple of paragraphs to read, and then ask you questions about what you read. And the subject is usually scientific in nature, but it's not like a science background helps you at all. It doesn't. It's called science, but it shouldn't be. It should be called verbal. I do a lot of math too.
Should be called what?
Should be part of the verbal.
Should be called what? Oh.
Should be called verbal. In other words, most of these tests, they have verbal and they have math. The SAT used to separate it into verbal and math. And that was what colleges are interested in, is your verbal ability and your math ability. But the ACT...
Is verbal reading and writing? Verbal English, right?
Well, the ACT has a verbal and an English, and it also has a science and a math. And
what is like verbal though? What is like
verbal? Testing your vocabulary, your ability to punctuate, your ability to write sentences, your English ability.
That's easy.
Good.
I'm in English honors and geometry honors, so.
Good. Good. No, you should do very well on these tests, and I don't see any speed problem at all. You've zipped through these. You've taken about 20 seconds per on these. But these do get harder, you'll notice.
Yeah.
16.
For all x 7. What?
They're saying for all x, 7 minus that is equal to what?
Oh, so it'd be 7.
Do it one step at a time. Don't do it more than one step at a time. Pretend your life depends on all of these.
So first, I forgot how to do these kind of questions.
Distribute. Get rid of the parentheses. That's all.
Do you distribute first? Do you always distribute first?
Not always, but most of the time.
Okay.
In other words, if I put a square there, then I would not distribute. I would square the x minus 10.
7 minus 2x. 7 minus 2x minus 20 equals negative 2x minus 13.
Hold on. Let's go back.
Okay.
7 minus 2x.
Minus 20.
What's minus 2 times minus 10?
Oh, you're right.
Plus 20.
Yeah.
And that's that mistake.
So it's negative 2x plus 27. So it's
the biggest mistakes people make is when there's a minus sign in front of something that has to be distributed, you have to make sure that you distribute both of them to minus 2. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then that gives you minus 2x plus 27, which is answer H. Now, did they put the trap answer on there? Yes, they did. Minus 2x minus 13 would have been what you'd have come up with had you left that sign at minus 20. Now, if they were being nice, this answer wouldn't be on the test as a multiple choice. If they're being not so nice, they're going to put that answer on there.
Then again, I feel like they shouldn't be nice, because
I agree.
What they're trying to do is trip you up. See how well you know yourself.
But see, if they were being nice and that answer wasn't on there and you came up with it, that would be a flag indicating, you've made a mistake. You go back, redo the problem, and you get the right answer.
Yeah,
So
but
it all depends on
they're not
whether
trying
they
to
want
give
that
you
or not.
answers. They're not like trying to give you answers.
No,
It's about
but
problem
you'd be
solving.
surprised at how many of these questions they want to reward the smarter person, not just somebody that can do rote math. And we'll get to
Yeah.
another problem
So
that'll.
17 is D, of course. What I'm doing is, since 60% is 3/5, I'm dividing 90 by 3 and getting 30, and then multiplying that by 5 and getting 150.
Good.
So the price of one box of popcorn and one drink together is $5.10. The price of two boxes of popcorn and one drink is $8.35. So what's the difference between $8.35 and $5.10? Minus $5, $3.25, right? $3.25. $5.10 minus $3.25. That would be.
So that'd be the price.
$1.
That'd be the price of a box of popcorn, right?
It's G. $1.85.
Good. Very good. Kind of like the way.
I'm pretty sure I could have done that in a quicker way, but.
No, not really. You may have chosen the best way possible. In other words, by subtracting these two numbers, you get the price of a box of popcorn. Correct? Yep. Well, once you know that popcorn is $3.25 and you know that one drink and one popcorn is $5.10, you just subtract $3.25 from $5.10, you have your answer.
Yeah. If I do well on the unit test, I'll keep my A in geometry.
You will.
In geometry, the quizzes he gave us, he didn't exactly give us enough time, and he admitted to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you lost points because you didn't get all the answers done. So I got below 90%.
Yeah, he's not gonna make it easy for you. You're gonna have to work to get an A, but you're certainly smart.
But what I'm gonna do is if like we have finals on like a Tuesday, then maybe we'll reschedule it.
Okay.
Or this to like a Monday or sometime before.
That's fine. Just let me know.
Okay.
Number 9.
So you're standing in line at the cash register to pay for 2 lamps priced at $8.99 each. A sales tax of $7 and the cost of lamps will be added, rounded to the nearest cent, for the price of 2 lamps. You have one $20 bill. Bills or how much will you need in coins if you want to have exact change ready? So we'll just do $9 times 2.
You can't do it that way. You can't round it off.
Remember? No, I know. Then I'm going to subtract 2 cents.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, it just makes it easier for me.
No.
So it's $15.98 each.
Okay.
For both of them.
Okay.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be. It would be $17.98.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I do my math in different ways.
No.
So divide that by 100.
I do my math very similar to the way you do your math. That's exactly what I would have done. I would have done 2 times.
So divide that by 100. I'm gonna do that right. No, it'd be 100 and 100 and.
What's your total cost?
18 cents, right? 1% is 18 cents. So 18 times 7.
No, that's another dangerous way to do it because 1% isn't 18 cents. It's 17.9 cents.
Well, we're supposed to round.
No, not yet. First of all, with the 7% tax, what's your total cost?
What?
There's a sales tax of 7%.
Oh, yeah.
So what's your total cost going to be?
There's going to be
the quickest way to find it. You have 2 choices. You can multiply this by 0.07 and then add that number. A faster way to do it is to multiply it by 1.07 on your calculator. Come up with that answer.
Times 1.07?
Yeah, in other words, that's going to give you the total cost.
Oh, never mind.
This is going to give you the total cost of the 2 lamps counting tax.
Oh, so it'd be $19.24.
You did that on the calculator?
How much? Yeah. So it'd be A. How much will you need in points if you want to have exact change ready? 24 cents.
Right. And notice how easy it would have been to make a mistake here and figure that the change you get from your $20 bill is 76 cents, right?
Mm-hmm.
But notice you don't have a $20 bill. You have $21 bills. So you'd still get this much change back, but that's not what they're asking. They're asking that if you want to have exact change, then you're going to use 19 of your $1 bills, and you're going to have 24 cents in exact change.
Yeah. So
this is actually a pretty tricky question. It will really be easy to make a mistake on this one.
wait, is the answer D?
No, it's A. You were right.
Okay. So
because the
if
total
I
charge is $19.24.
I already did 20, by the way. I just found the cube root of 343, which equals 7, and then 3 times 7 equals 21, so it's G.
Okay.
What is the greatest correct order of pi?
What's the correct?
7 over 3.
From least.
7 over 3 and 9 over 2 from least to greatest. So I think, so 7 divided by 3 equals 2 and 1/3. 9 divided by 2 equals 4 and 1/2. So it's going to be 7/3 pi and then 9 over 2.
Here's the problem with doing 7 over 3 is 7 and 1/3, or 2 and 1/3. It's hard to compare 2 and 1/3 and...
Sorry, 2.33333.
Okay.
But we already know that pi is 3.14159.
All right.
I don't know
Your
pi.
answer was B?
Yeah.
All
right. It's like, it's just, there's so much of a noticeable difference, a distinct difference, that you don't even have to convert it to decimals.
No, I for some reason, it'd have been a better problem if that would have come out to be 3 1/3.
Yeah.
Because now it's hard to compare 3 1/3 with pi, unless you convert 3 1/3 to decimal.
Oh no, but I already know that pi is less than that, because pi is 3.14,
okay.
not
well, that's good.
3.
That's good. All right. Hold on, let me show you the top question here. Let's see. Oh, we got another top one.
What number can you add to the numerator and denominator of 9 over 13 to get 3/4? So, can you add to both of them?
You're going to add some value to that and the same value to that, and it's going to end up being equal to 3/4. That's what they're saying.
I'm just going to try with both right now because I don't know an actual solution. 15.
Well, if that's the case, start back solving. You know what I mean by back solving?
Adding x to both sides, right?
No. Assume f is correct. What do you get if the answer is -3?
Well, then you get 6 over 10, and that's not correct.
Okay, now try.
I was already doing that, by the way. I was already doing that, by the way.
You can eliminate k for the same reason.
Yep.
Try the easiest ones. In other words, g and h involve fractions, and it's really hard to do the arithmetic.
Yeah.
So
then add 3 to both.
If J works, then we're done.
So if you add 3 to both, you get 12 over 15, which is not the answer. That's 4/5.
Hold on. 12 over 16.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, that is 3/4.
Yep, that's the correct.
J.
Now, let's just talk about the algebraic solution here. I've written out the problem. Just exactly like that. In other words, x is the amount you're going to add to both numerator and denominator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how would I solve that for x?
Add x to both sides.
No. This is in parentheses.
What? Oh, so 9x over 13x equals 3/4.
No. You're adding x to both sides. How do you solve a problem if I say a over b equals c over d? What's your first step? Cross multiply. Right? You'd say a times d equals b times c. Well, cross multiply this. 4 times 9 plus x has to equal 3 times 13 plus x. Now you get 36 plus 4x equals 39 plus 3x. Move the x's to the left.
Subtract the 6 and get, yeah.
Okay. Now, here's a problem where this is doing it the hard way, actually. To me, this would be the hard way to do it. You have to set up the algebraic equation, which isn't that easy, and then you have to solve it. Okay? So this is definitely a problem where back solving gets you the answer quicker, especially if you're smart enough to start with -3 and then try 3 and then try 6. If you have to try the harder numbers, so be it. But you don't want to try those first because the math is so much harder. In other words, if I subtract 1 1/4 from 9 and 13, gosh, I'd need a calculator almost to figure out what that was. But I can certainly add 3 to top and bottom and see if that's equal to 3/4. So the correct solution for 22 is back solving, not this. This took me longer than back solving took. All right, 23.
Oh, I found the answer. It's 11 over 3. Because I did -7 minus 4, which equals -11, and then 2 minus 5, which equals -3. Since both the numerator and denominator are negative, they cancel out, giving you 11 over 3.
Right.
If P is the greatest prime factor of -38, and F is the greatest prime, what?
There's no negative in front of the 38? You said of -38?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
What exactly is prime?
What is prime?
What exactly is prime factor again?
Prime factor is a factor that is a prime number. In other words, one of the factors of 38 is 19, right? It's 19 times 2.
Yep.
Well, 19 is a prime factor of 38. So is 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So if P is the greatest prime factor of 38, which is 19, right?
Mm-hmm. And F is the greatest prime factor of 100.
Do you see why 19 is the greatest prime factor of 38? There are some other factors. Well, no, actually there aren't.
Yes,
19 and 2.
Yes, right? I do. But
okay.
But yeah, there's no other prime factors that are greater.
Okay.
Greater.
What's the greatest prime factor
38
of 100? Here, let me teach you a technique for factoring numbers. We know that 100 is 100 times 1. If I want to know all the factors of 100, I'm going to start by cutting this in half and doubling that. Doing it again. Now I can't cut that in half anymore, but I could cut it in fifths. And if I cut that in fifths, then I got to increase that by 5. Now I'm done. I think I got all my factors of 100.
Well, there's also 10 and 10.
Huh, I forgot. See, now I can go back the other direction. I can double 5 and cut 20 in half. So there's one. Okay, so now.
So 1 is the greatest prime factor. Wait,
No,
2 is. 2 is.
no, I see a 5 there. 5 is greater than
Yeah, you're right.
2. What's that?
Yeah, you're right.
In
You're
other
right.
words,
So 19, it'd have to be 24.
Not prime, 50 isn't prime, 25 isn't prime, 20 is not prime, 10 is not prime. The only two prime numbers we're looking at on that list are those two.
And 1.
Actually, 1 is not prime either. Here's a list of primes. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and so forth. 1 is not.
Well, a prime number is a number that's only that can only be multiplied by.
1 is not considered prime.
No, that's only divisible by 1. It's only divisible by 1.
By 1 and itself. So by that definition, 1 would be prime, but 1 is not prime. Primes start at 2. So that definition holds for all the numbers except 1.
Yeah. So it's 5.
Correct. Although that's not the answer. See, this one they give you a little break on. They didn't put 5 on that list. Why? Because they want what is P plus F.
P plus F. I know, it'd be H, 24.
24, exactly. Now see, they could have been little devils and put 5 on this list. And you go to all that trouble to figure out the greatest prime factor of 100, and you figure out that it's 5, and you see a 5 over there, boom, you're on to the next problem. So you got to be a little.
Or they could have put 9.
You gotta really be careful in reading the question to make sure you're answering what they want you to answer. Oh, this is a clever problem here. I like this one.
If T plus V equals 289 and TV equals 30, then T squared plus V squared equals. So I'm going to find the square root of 289. It'd have to be 17.
Okay.
So T plus V equals 17.
No.
What?
Excuse me. You're right. Sorry. You're right. T plus V is equal.
And then
What's T squared plus V squared? That's the question.
yeah. And then 30 has to be. We have to figure out 30's factors, right?
No, there's a trick to the problem, but you've kind of got off
I found
a long start.
2 and 15, right?
The correct start is not to take the square root of both sides like you did. Expand that T plus V. What do you get? What's T plus V squared?
289, though.
No, just this alone. Tell me what that is.
So T squared plus V squared.
No, that's the number one mistake made in algebra. Here's what it is. T plus V times T plus V, right? That's what it means to square something?
Oh.
Square.
Yeah.
So what do you get?
You get 2T plus 2V.
No.
Yeah.
FOIL it. Multiply that times that.
What?
And then that times that. And then that times that. And then that times that. What do you get? Add them all together.
Oh, so you get T squared plus TV plus V squared plus TV.
So you have 2
TV
T's plus V squared, right? That's what's equal to 289. Now they tell you what T times V is equal to, and they want to know what this, what's 2TV equal to?
Oh. What?
What is 2TV equal to?
2TV equals 60.
So now we have t squared plus 60 plus v squared
Right.
89. So t squared plus v squared equals what?
Sorry. It have to equal 29.
Right. Be very, very careful. I cannot tell you how many students I have, smart students, that make this mistake all the time. That is not the correct answer. In other words, when you're squaring a binomial term, you're not just going to end up with the first term squared plus the second term squared. You're going to have a middle term in there.
To be fair, I got the same answer as you doing my way, but my way doesn't work every time. So yes, I have to be cautious.
You didn't really. You got t squared plus v squared equals 289. Because you said that t plus v quantity squared was t squared plus v squared.
Oh, great.
And it's not equal to 289. But luckily, they didn't put 289 on there. So you would have been alerted to your mistake immediately. And whenever you see that, where your answer that you came up with isn't on there, go back and try the problem a different way. In other words, the way you did it by taking the square root of both sides is one way to do it, but it's not the only way. Let's see. Is your brother going to have a session tonight? Do you know?
Yes, I think so.
Hold on. I don't know if he is or not. He sent me a file. I guess he's going to have a session. Okay. I'm going to let you go and log in with him. So we got through number 25, and we'll start on 26. You can see that they're getting harder. They're not anywhere near as easy as they were in the first 10.
The first 10 were simple algebra.
Yeah, very easy. Just wanted to boost your morale by starting you off with the simple ones. I knew that they weren't going to give you any problems. All right, Bolton, I'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.